Ah, welcome back, Pet. How was your first day? Pet, you're soaking wet. And look how you shiver. What happened? Oh, so that was the sound I'd heard earlier. Oh, Pet, I'm so sorry. I wish I could say I was surprised that this is Nora's doing. But I'm not. Come, let's get you out of these wet clothes. They must weigh a ton. You look positively freezing. There. Now, let's get you into the covers while I grab you some warm clothes. Oh, yes, Pet. Like I've said, the captain's methods can be a bit... much. But the lessons they teach are effective. I likely doubt that you'll forget the lessons taught by her. I certainly haven't. Here, put these on. They should keep you warm. I'll hang your wet clothes to dry. Oh, yes. Didn't I mention before? I've trained under Nor myself. Grant you, I was much further along a fighter than you. And I have the vampirism as well, of course. The methods were different, certainly. Perhaps a bit harsher. But that's just the way she is. They're effective. There's no denying that. There. That should get these dry before too long, though I do think I'm going to need to talk to Nor, see if I can procure you some dry attire fitting for work. There now, aren't those clothes much warmer? Oh, you still look cold. Here, let's get you back under the covers. Yes, you have worked quite hard today, haven't you, Pet? I think perhaps that deserves a bit of a reward, and perhaps for me more than you, a bit of an apology. I know Nor is eccentric. Well, it's certainly not the most ideal of circumstances, but hopefully you can hold out for a little bit longer. At the very least, I would be more than happy to be here to help you and reward you when you're finished with your day's work. I mean, other than to protect you while you're working and help Nor. I am here for a reason. Yes, of course, darling. Come here. Is there anything I can do for you, darling? Anything at all? Are you sore, darling? I know it's a lot to put up with and plenty of work. If I may, I think I can perhaps get some of those knots and muscles to relax. If you don't mind me touching you. I didn't think you would. All right, roll over onto your stomach. Let's get at those back muscles. They look as tired as you do. No, just like I thought. Oh, these are quite tense. I think this may need to become a more nightly routine. She does seem to work you harder than I ever have. On the contrary, I think I probably should have worked you a little bit harder at home, huh? It would have made it a little easier. For you now, anyway. Oh, but I couldn't put my darling through those paces. My sweet little pet. I don't think I could handle seeing you so tired all the time, especially knowing that I was at all. Oh, well, now it's different. Now, you see, well, I am doing this for your own good and for my peace of mind. I never want something like that to happen again, darling, so I will grin and bear it as I watch my darling little pet all tuckered out and tired at the end of the day, and coming home to me freezing and soaking wet like a drowned mouse. I do hope that you two can bear with it. I know it's hard, darling, but it is what is required. Pet, do you mind if I move this collar down? I just need to see something. This mark. Pet, can I ask you a question? While you were down there, in the water, did anything strange happen? Anything at all? A voice. Are you sure? Yes. It must have just been Nor. I'm sure she was just playing a trick on you. I'm sorry. Here, let me cover this back up. I'm sorry? No, no, it's fine. I'm sorry. Here. Let me go back to massaging. We can get the lower back as well. Yes, I'm fine. No. Just trying to get accustomed to different things as well as you are. So, I think I'm just a little distracted. That's all. Yes. I'm sure you're hungry, aren't you, darling? You curl up here. I am going to go get you some food. What do you think? Perfect. I will be right back. Darling, pet, are you still up? Oh, good. I'm glad you're still awake. You do need to eat, darling. Here, this food is hot. It should keep you warm on the inside as well. Make you feel better, give you back your strength. After you eat, perhaps turning in early would be for the best. No, darling. I do not have any plans to sleep the night away. It is my time to be up, after all. However, I'm more than happy to spend the first few hours or so with you. You don't exactly need to twist my arm to keep you by my side. I will do my best not to wake you when I get up there. How is it? I am told that the cook that Nord employs is quite good at their job. Of course, I don't really partake too much, but it is notorious amongst those that are under her care that the food and drink that she provides is immaculate, to say the least. That is an excellent question, darling. I have very little need to feed most of the time, and I will do my best to conserve my energy so that I don't need to feed quite as often. But if you would be so kind, pet, I will not need much in terms of satiation. However, occasionally I am going to require just enough blood out of you to sustain myself. I know I haven't really fed from you before, but if you would be so kind, I promise not to take much. I know Nora will be working you to the bone, as it is. And if I need to procure my meals elsewhere, then so be it. No? Oh, pet, you treat me too kindly. Oh, are you done? My, you were hungry. Good. I'm glad you have an appetite. Let me set this here for now. And let's get you tucked up in bed. Come on. There you go. Don't worry, pet, I'm not going anywhere. I'm right here. Yes. Of course, pet. If you would like my touch to go to sleep, I am more than happy to oblige. Yes. A story. If you so wish it, darling. I think you just like the sound of my voice. What kind of story would you like, darling? Certainly. If you wish to know more about my relationship with Nord, I am more than happy to tell you. What? Which story should I tell? There are quite a few. Oh, if you wish it, of course, darling. I can, of course, tell you the time that I drank Nor, the impervious demon captain, under the table. I suppose that you probably wouldn't think that much of me, as I suppose I come across as a bit, perhaps uptight is the word for it. But at one point, and even still now, when I'm not responsible for everything, I was a bit of a wild child. Oh yes, I had a bit of a streak there, especially after vampirism. Especially after the vampirism. Yes. I think I had met her in a tavern. Oh, goodness knows where I was. Honestly, it was so long ago, it's hard to remember. I'll have to ask her. But we did meet in a tavern, and oh, she was a sight. Well, some of those scars that she has on her face now were still fresh. She was drinking to get rid of some of the pain, and because she enjoys it, and she had accrued, well, quite the audience. She was a sight. Shirt half open, coat on the floor, hat nowhere to be found. Most of the people who were there didn't know who she was. She was notorious, to say the least. And that particular tavern owner, well, they were particularly fond of Nora. Whenever she finished a raid, you'd see she would come with all of the gold that she could manage to carry with her in the pockets at the time, and spoil herself and people she found amusing. Splurge half of what she accrued in the raid on one night of fun and fancy. I was down at this tavern for business, let's call it. Something had brought me to that town, and said something had brought me to that tavern, and I was ready to drink and revel and forget. So when I started to match her quietly in a corner, for every drink she had, I had one as well. She caught on really quickly. I will say I'm not inconspicuous, unless I am trying to be. But she caught on pretty quickly, and even quicker, pulled me to her table. I wouldn't have had to go, mind you. We are similar in strength. There could have been a fight, but I went with her willingly. We sat at her table, and, well, we accrued quite an audience, even bigger than the one she had by herself. The notorious drinking captain was being met, drink for drink, by, well, someone as stuffy as I appear. Oh, hush. You're supposed to be sleeping. I appeared even more stuffy and uptight at the time. And do remember, I had just gotten off of a business meeting of sorts. So I probably looked even more tense and uptight at the time. I sat there, and I drank, and I drank, and I drank. Now, mind you, while the vampirism does help in keeping the adverse effects of alcohol out of my system, it does not completely prevent it, just as it doesn't for the captain. But it was, I'm certain, quite a sight to watch two supernatural beings, such as myself and the captain, drinking inhumane amounts of alcohol. I'm pretty sure by the time we were done, that tavern owner had to expedite a number of shipments. If I remember correctly, I actually think Nora capitalized on some of that. She is quite cunning. I think she ran some rem for him. It wasn't till, likely 1 or 2 in the morning, that the captain actually pulled out some finer liquids. You see, though there are certain jobs that demons tend to have, there are also some jobs they get that only demons can do that are dangerous, including making alcohol. You see, Nor had acquired some demon mead. Oh, at least that's what they call it. I don't really know what it is. I don't think it's mead, but it is potent, and I'm pretty sure it would kill a human with just a shot. We split the bottle. It wasn't a very big bottle, mind you. This is a very time-consuming and long process. And what little is made is quite valuable and quite expensive. We split the bottle in half between the two of us, and whoever survived would be considered the winner. You see, Nora is quite competitive in nature and very much out to prove that she is the strongest person in the room. And if she is not, well, she's usually first to ask the strongest to teach her. She's very go-getter like that. Yes, but I survived. I won, actually. And as you can see, Noor as well survived. We both managed to drink it, but it did put her under the table, and I remained composed. Oh, I assure you, as soon as I got home that night, I was out for the next few days. It is very strong stuff. But don't tell her that. She doesn't know. Ever since then, well, whenever Nora is feeling particularly lonely, I am often the drinking partner that she wishes for and asks. I have gone out on several occasions just to drink and catch up. Grant you, she always turns it into a competition, and she always loses, funnily enough. Oh, she won't let me live it down. She asks for my secret, but I cannot tell them. I don't know why I don't particularly succumb to alcohol. Now, I think it's time for you to go to sleep. I am more than happy to sit here and continue petting you, pet. But I do need you to close your eyes and sleep. You have a long day in the morning, and this isn't going to be easy, so you are going to need as much rest and respite as you can. Good night, pet. Nor, we need to talk. Ainara, of course. Is your pet still around? No, they're asleep. So you hear about the mark? Then you saw it. I saw it. After I pushed them over a second time. The second time you pushed them off. Nor, Ainara, you came to me knowing what they'd be in for. You know my methods, and you know they work. Yes, I trust your methods. But please, if you saw the mark on them, don't worry. I'm not pushing them back in. I'm keeping them out if I can. I don't want anything to happen to your pet. It's not what I'm trying to do. I'll keep them safe down in the day. Thank you, my dear friend. So, do you think it's her? Yes, I think it might be, actually, her. This isn't ideal, Ainara. But you know what she's like. You can't be surprised that she showed up, especially at inconvenient timing. I had hoped to avoid it if possible, and I hope to avoid it still. If they can stay out of the water, I don't think it'll be an issue. You know she's terrified of you. That she is, and rightfully so. Did cut off that limb for a reason. Capable of it too. More than happy to do it again. If she ever tries something, I'll keep your pet safe. Don't worry. And like I said, they're in my care. In the mornings, anyway. Thank you. I appreciate it, Nora. Since you appreciate it so much, perhaps we should get a drink? Or several? Of course you'd ask me for that. Yes. I think a drink is exactly what I need. Especially if my fears come to fruition. Fears are for the morrow. Drink is for tonight. You're right. Pray tell, what do we have on the menu tonight? Wait till you see what they have.